This video is about updating an inventory entry for a book by using the Edit button found for the book in the M2 dashboard. I introduced the Edit button in an earlier video where I discussed the various functions available through the dashboard. The key things to remember about updating an existing inventory entry is that there are required and unrequired fields, and that the status of a book can be changed both in M2 and Amazon. I'll pay particular attention to updating the price and quantity of a book when its status is listed or active versus inactive. First, I'll talk about updating a book that is not listed. In an unlisted inventory entry, every field can be updated, but keep in mind that a required field left blank will result in an error. Next, I'll discuss a book that has already been listed on Amazon. Only the price and quantity can be updated in a listed entry because changes made in the inventory entry will be reflected in Amazon. Let's get started. An unlisted book can be in either an incomplete or list online status. I'm going to search for incomplete books and pick one to work on. I typically leave books in an incomplete status because additional work is needed before the book can be listed. When I click on List, I get an error message because this book is in an incomplete status. With all the required fields filled in, the book could have been accidentally listed on Amazon if it wasn't marked incomplete. When I click on Edit, the inventory entry is displayed. I want to add a URL that points to the image of this book before I list it. I will also change the price and quantity of the book. Changing the price and quantity or other fields here doesn't have an effect on Amazon because the book hasn't been listed yet. I've decided to change this book from MFN to AFN before listing. Finally, I'll select Yes from the List Online drop-down. When I return to the dashboard, I can see the change in the network from MFN to FBA and the change of status to List Online. When I click on List, a pop-up appears that will allow me to list the book instead of the error message that appeared earlier. I already covered the listing process in an earlier video. Next, I'll discuss updating an already listed book. I'll be demonstrating how to update the price and quantity of an already listed MFN book and then an FBA book. I'll search on MFN to find a book I can use as an example. As noted in a previous video, when an MFN book completes the listing process, it becomes active because the book is visible to Amazon customers who can make a purchase. When I open this active book, only the fields with a white background are available for update. The fields with a gray background can't be modified. I'll change the price first. I need to pick Yes in the Reprice drop-down for the new price to take effect. Now I'll update the quantity from 1 to 2. Next, I click Update. When I return to the dashboard, you can see M2 is communicating the price and quantity changes to Amazon. When updating is complete, my changes will be available on Amazon as well as in M2. Now I'll open a listing for a book I recently sold. When I sell a book, I decrement the quantity by the number of books sold. Decrementing the quantity to 0 will result in a status change. I'll click on Update and return to the dashboard. Once M2 is done communicating the quantity change to Amazon, the status will be inactive. I'm going to move on to updating an FBA book. I'll use the first listed FBA book as an example. I'll change the quantity and price for this FBA book as I did for the MFN book previously. Now I'll click Update and return to the dashboard. Updating the price and quantity for an FBA book also results in those changes being reflected in Amazon. However, the status doesn't change to inactive if the quantity is reduced to 0 for an FBA book, as it does for MFN. In the next video, I'll discuss deleting listed versus unlisted MFN and AFN books and any relevant changes in status.